Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Firefighters Chalkboard. I'm your host, Uncle Wayne, and tonight we have Kevin Cate with the Ethos of Fire. Kevin, how are you doing tonight?
Fantastic.
That is great. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it and tell everybody about Kevin and tell everybody about Ethos.
Yeah, absolutely. So me, I'm just a dude that likes to have fun and go to fires. Um, I'm a little bit of ADHD mixed with something else, and I don't take things seriously. I take things seriously. It's all just for fun.
There you go.
As far as ethos goes, um, I got the first idea back in 2019 at my first FDIC. I didn't exactly know what the idea was at the time. I just knew that where I was as far as at the conference goes was where I wanted to be. And so from 2019 up until 2023, I spent that time really trying to figure out what it meant to be in the fire service,
Hmm.
and what it meant to be a student of the game, and what it meant to love the craft and stuff like that. Um, one of my one of the chiefs in my department at the time, he and I had a bunch of different discussions about what it would look like, whether or not it'd be a podcast, whether or not it'd be a Facebook page, really just what it would be. And we kind of got that narrowed down, and then I just never could pick a name. And in 2023, I was sitting in FDIC again, and Aaron Fields, I believe he changed the name of the class that year, but it may have still been Drilling for Success. But he was talking about ether and ethos and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, ethos. I was like, that's amazing. I was like, really, everything that I've been doing for the last however many years is essentially building my ethos. I
Hmm.
was like, we're just going to roll with that.
Nice. Because, I mean, it's really weird how things just keep building and building.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, absolutely.
it's like no different me when I got my start. I've been a adjunct instructor for the state for a while, helping with the state academies, and then finally I landed a job being a full time instructor.
Hmm.
And then it was like I'm reaching my recruits, I'm learning stuff working with them. Why not take what I'm learning, spread it out to everybody else? Because I know a lot of people are having struggles and stuff with the younger generation. And it's not a bad thing.
Hmm.
It's just a lack of understanding the cultural differences in the way they were brought up, especially that was brought up by COVID. Because
Hmm.
COVID hurt us a lot, especially whenever students coming in and stuff. Because look at the lack of mentorship they had in their school years.
Hmm.
Because it's hard to have a mentor whenever you're working on a laptop at home. So
Yep.
they lost a lot of that that mentorship from ball coaches, teachers, things like that, and now they're hungry for
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
So you know I just recently met Kevin a couple of months ago. We met at MAPSI. Had a We were both kind of waiting on classes to start, and he was sitting on his tailgate, and I just kind of was doing a little tour of the place, checking everything out, and struck up a conversation, and here we are today. I mean, so it's just a testament of what I preach a lot of times about: get out of your comfort zone, get out of your area, go somewhere and go do training. I mean, because Kevin, you're in Tennessee, right?
Hmm.
Okay, Kevin's from Tennessee. I'm from South Carolina. We met in Atlanta. So it's funny, get out of your area, go somewhere and go train, go to one of these conferences. You'd be surprised at the amount of networking you can do, people you can meet, resources you find. Um, so I mean that's the biggest advocate for getting out and go somewhere and go training. You meet a lot of cool people that are like minded and really passionate about the job and studying the craft.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of my closest friends don't even live in my state. Um, and none of them I met locally. All of them I've met at a conference. Me and Jason Worthy, I'd blow his phone up at least 2 to 3 times a week.
And then everybody's got that same friend, you know. Let's go ahead and give him tribute. Uh, there you go, Uncle Ethan.
Yep.
Uncle Ian.
Yeah. The there's so many things that can be said there.
I'm
I
actually
don't have
looking.
a hat.
You ain't got no hair left either. Uh,
No, don't.
I'm actually
It's
looking at
hot this
a.
summer.
Yeah, it is. It's really been hot. This fake fall we're having this week is spoiling my written rescue and rescuer class right now. That 80-degree weather outside is spoiling them way too much. But I was
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
laughing because I'm looking at a picture of you and Ethan on Facebook right now. Uh, um, so,
I
but
literally got fed up with the heat and just shaved it all.
so let's talk about the classes you were teaching, like the one you teach in math. Talk about your class because I was
Yeah.
really interested in how you explained it to me.
And so remind me, we go in the lecture route or hands-on route?
Well, your hands-on route, where you kind of done the whole hands-on part with the burn building itself, that was kind of
Yeah,
neat.
absolutely. So there's multiple parts of this of how it came to be. Um, the original ground level concept of the class was my training chief, when he became the training chief, came to me and said, "Hey, we have an acquired structure. Um, do you care to help out with some training days?" And we called them the training house was on Watt Road, and we called it Watt Road Wednesdays. Um, and so had a couple companies come out, did some search training with them, and then he came to me and said, "Hey, guys are really liking what you're doing there. Would you be willing to do a department wide drill?" So I did a department wide drill. A couple people came to me and said, "Why aren't you teaching this other places?" So that was the very bare bones foundation of the class. But it was no way, shape, or form of what the product was at MAPC. Um, Another part of that was I would immediately after that was going through my fire instructor two and
Hmm.
had to design a practical. So I just started designing the layout of that while I was sitting in instructor two, which just so happened to be in the middle of that class. Submissions opened up. So I was like, well, I've already got this built out. Submissions are open. Why not? And then it continued to evolve up until the class was finished, really. It was a very fluid thing. The ladder splicing that Ian did was probably changed maybe a month or two before the class. I called him up and said, "Hey, can you do ladder splicing?" But the whole premise of it essentially boils down to I am currently on a two-man engine.
Hmm.
And at the same time of designing the class was when Ladine and Duffy and Chief Thompson and all those guys released the removing two in, two out. Um, and I had the thought, well, heck, when I'm there, it's two in, who's out? And I was like, oh, well, why don't we make this a limited staffing search class? And so
Yeah.
that's why the ladder splicing became so important, is that on my engine, I have a 24 and a roof ladder.
Hmm.
And so while most of my area is double wide trailers, single wide trailers, industrial, old folks homes, there's a $6 million mansion being built right down the street from my station. And if I've got to make a rescue on the backside of that mansion, none of my ladders are reaching that window. And I'm sure that other people's have that same issue in their first dues or second dues. And my ladder truck is coming from an extreme distance to bring me a 35 footer. And our only other 35 footers are on our tenders if they get pulled. So there's where the ladder splicing came from.
Okay.
And then most of the other stuff was just bare bone basic, but with less people than you would typically expect.
Well, I think that's a lot of places where we are. We have a dynamic amount of differences. We go, one side of our area is very rural and
Hmm.
single wides, double wides, single story ranches, stuff like that. Primarily rural water supply operations. And then you drive 45 minutes to the other side of the area and you're looking at 20-story hotels. So, I
Hmm.
mean, it goes from one extreme to the next. And I can see, I remember when I first started years ago, we were still, we had C8000s back then. That was our primary engine out. And
Hmm.
our ladder complement used to be a 3-section 35 and a 14 roof ladder. That was our ladder complement. And you pull up with two guys on a pumper, and if you had to 30 35, it was time to man up or nothing. I mean, I can tell my back's not as young as it used to be. Uh,
Yeah,
it can still be done, but I'm ready for a break afterwards. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah. I got a I got a lot of pushback from local people over the ladder splicing
Now, do
because
you,
some
do you
people just
think it
don't
might be
understand it.
because of just lack of? I'm not going to say lack of knowledge, but if if the reason is there, how about lack of exposure to that technique and not really truly learning about how it will work?
Yeah, I think that part of it is that. I think that part of it is a lack of need, because there are, I have 10 to 15 minutes sometimes on my next due engine.
Mm-hmm.
Other parts of the county that I'm in, you're lucky to get off the rig before your next due is pulling up. And so I think that part of it is seeing a lack of application to their area. And then we surround a city that, again, you pull up and they're on your butt. And they have multiple ladder trucks as opposed to us having two.
Yeah.
Um, and they've got, 3 to 4 man staffing on most of their rigs. And so what people didn't understand was that I wasn't teaching this class for local people. I was in Atlanta, and I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't teaching the class for Atlanta. The class has a nationwide application that's not just about me or my department.
I can see that. I
And I
mean,
think that that's how you have to approach any class.
well, I mean, there's a house that's right beside mine, literally
Hmm.
1,000 yards. It's got a quarter of a mile long driveway,
Hmm.
and it is a 3-story, probably 4,000 square foot house.
Hmm.
I mean, prime example of where you might have to lash a 14 to a 24 because you're not getting a ladder truck down that driveway.
Yeah.
Um, and there's a possibility of it. I mean,
And I ain't carrying a 35 footer down
I don't know about carrying. I might drag it across the yard. I don't know about carrying it very much. I'll
it.
take some zip ties and put some training wheels on the bottom of it. Uh,
Yeah. And so to me, because there's also a lot of people that don't understand going to conferences or going to some of these classes, or not just my class, but classes in general.
mhm.
And you have to look at it from the perspective of it's not just about your department. It's your responsibility to pick a class that is best suited for you and your department. But to judge someone's class based on the criteria of your department alone is irresponsible.
Yeah, we had a conversation with somebody the other day about that, and it was kind of getting in the whole closed mindedness. When I go to
Hmm.
different places, It is to get inside the mind of other people that are exposed to
Hmm.
different things than what I am. That way, it gives me a different way of looking at it. And sometimes I can take applications they have, how it works for them, and then I can tweak it a little bit to make it work for us. And
Hmm.
and that's what it's all about. It's about branching out, meeting people, finding ideas, and just learning. Just because it's done differently than the way you do it in your backyard doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just different.
Absolutely. And speaking of conversations the other day, this is the ADD I was telling you about. I want to clarify something that Alex said. I did not push him under the bus. I lifted him up on a pedestal. Anyways, now that that's out of the way.
It is all good. So, you know, I troll everybody all the time and I read a lot of stuff you put on and I share a lot of your stuff on my page because there's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff you put out that means a lot. And, you know, one of the things that really stood out to me was you owe the department nothing. You owe yourself, your family, and your community everything. And truly that means a lot because who are we serving? We are serving the community. The department in itself is serving the community. That's our external customer.
Hmm. And so you cut out for a minute there, and I think I got most of what you were talking about.
Okay.
Um, and so I might be a millennial, but I'm really technology dumb. Um, like truthfully, I am. I still haven't figured out Instagram, and so there's apparently a way to share what you post on both, but for some reason, not everything transfers all the time, and so the picture went on Instagram without the rest of what I posted with it. And my training chief wasn't happy about the post at first
Oh,
because he just saw it on Instagram. And then I showed him the rest of it because my training chief is awesome. He sends me to a lot of stuff. Um, After I showed him the rest of it, he was like, "Oh, okay, that makes better sense." And so um, I don't clarify it enough in my posts. Not everything I post is about my department specifically. It's about conversations that I have with others and my
sure.
takes on what they have. And so in that post, I say a department gets back what it gives, or something along that lines, I believe, in the caption up above the picture.
Hmm.
My department has given me a lot. I'm a second generation guy there. My dad started when the department was in its infancy, and I came up through the department. My dad was there up until my mom got cancer, and he just needed more money and better insurance. And so he left the place that he loved to go work for another department that could help out with that situation. But then when my mom was declared cancer free, he came back at the bottom of the seniority list because my department has given a lot for me and my family. Um, but ultimately, and Mike Galliano, if you've ever sat through any of his classes,
I actually
um,
got to meet him 2 years ago. Our department brought him in to do a conference with us.
mhm.
Super
And
super
so
good guy.
in his class, This House Rocks,
Hmm.
he talks about his last day on the job and how he came in and he was already locked out of all the systems. The department had already forgotten him. They had already moved on. They'd promoted another person. It was his last day at work. He couldn't do reports. He couldn't log into any of the systems. He couldn't do anything. Something along those lines. I'm probably misquoting him. Um, But then I had a conversation with, someone the other day that was frustrated with their department, and they're like, "Man, I've given everything and I've got nothing in return." And I was like, "Well, man, realistically, you don't, if they're not doing anything for you, you don't owe them anything. Like everything that you do should not be about your department. It should be about you. It should be about your family. It should be about the people that you're serving to protect." I had a captain, one of my first captains, say, "Well, you should probably go on to work at the city because of this and because of that and all this." I was like, "Well, I don't really want to." He's like, "Well, why?" I was like, "Well, it's not about the department for me. It's about the community for me. And this is the community that I've chosen. And if I go work for XYZ department, then I'm not serving the community that I want to serve anymore." And so, as long as there's an equal exchange, yes, your department does deserve something from you. But if you're just giving and giving and giving, you need to understand that they only get what they deserve.
I'm going to say I'm really blessed in that area. Um, yeah, I'm serious. I mean, the department I work for, um, I've been career for 24 years, volunteer and career combination right at 30. And when I first got hired, we had 23 people on staff.
Mm-hmm.
We're upwards of 600 now. And we've had a lot of growth in 24 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I will honestly say I have never been felt like a number in our
Mm-hmm.
department. Our fire chief and the rest of the administrative staff all the way down. And if you walk in the office, he knows you by name.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing? How's everything going? Uh, I seen him the other day, and it's like, how's your book doing? I
Mm-hmm.
said, what'd you think of it? He said, I'm working on it because I gave him a copy of it once it published. And but I mean, I can see where you say some places where they're just not a number and you're not getting anything, but but I try to be positive about a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
because in my mind, my department gave me opportunities. It gave me a really good chance for me to grow throughout my career, to be
Mm-hmm.
exposed to different things. It gave me the opportunity to be where I'm at now and make an impact on the younger generation and more students and be able to mentor more people. Is I can see where some people do say that,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm all for my community and giving everything I can to my community. But my department gave me a shot at doing what I love and making a career out of it. So I kind of feel
Mm-hmm.
like I owe them some too. I mean,
I love it.
and I will say it, and it's not because I know they're listening on this. I mean, I tell it all the time. I am really blessed to work where I work for, and to have the bosses I have.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that can't say that. There's a lot of people that can't stand to who they work for, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm really blessed to be able to work for the chiefs that I work under.
I genuinely wish that everyone throughout the nation could have departments like we do.
Hmm.
Um, and man, it's hard. It's hard out there for some people.
And one thing when you brought up Mike.
Mm-hmm.
It's something our department started doing a couple of years ago is they started doing a in-house conference, and they'll get a
Mm-hmm.
couple of people that are speakers that are on the circuit, and they
Mm-hmm.
get them to come in and do presentations because I can promise you, if it was available, we would send as many people as we could to FPIC so they could be exposed to those. But that takes money, time, covering shift slots, everything else. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think it's a big attaboy for them to send those people in for us to be able to have exposure to it. And not only
Mm-hmm.
that, they turn around and pay us overtime slot to come listen. I mean, so it's being progressive and trying to expose you to the different stuff. And there's a lot of places that they don't have that a bit that opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. My department, I said I told myself I wasn't gonna talk a lot about my department because I try to stay out of it.
Mhm.
Um, especially, I don't have my department listed on my Facebook. I don't share anything from my department, not because I dislike them, um, but because the less people know about my department, the less what I do affects them.
Sure.
Unless someone Googles me and stalks me, like the dude from the March Mayhem email. Um, he is angry. Um,
Struck a nerve.
anyways, anyways, um, my department's in a really good spot right now. And kind of in a really scary spot as well. As weird as it is for those two things to go hand in hand. My department's not that old, but we're older than some,
Hmm.
and we're kind of the department in itself is in that kind of adolescent phase where the hormones are starting to hit, and you're figuring out your identity, and you're like, who am I? And hormones just don't go over well. Um, but we've got a new fire chief, we've got a new operations chief, and we've got a new training chief.
Wow.
They've all been with the department for a long time. Our ops chief became the fire chief. Our training chief became the ops chief. One of the battalion chiefs became the training chief. And they're all firemen's chiefs.
Yeah.
Um, and we're in a really good spot because of that. And I am able to have very candid conversations with them. I don't want to say that everyone can because I don't speak for everyone. I can have very candid conversations with them,
Sure.
to the point that I was offered a job at another department, and I was able to go to my fire chief and say, hey, this is what's going on. I respect you enough to come to you. Why should I stay? And why shouldn't I stay? And I was able to have that candid conversation with him. And ultimately, even if I didn't necessarily love everything that he told me, the fact that he was honest and upfront with me is why I stayed.
Well, I mean, what you're saying is what we preach all the time. Your chief's mentoring you, giving you sound advice,
Mhm.
but you open that line of communication so they can truly understand what you got on the table, then they can process it and give you their thoughts on it in an open and honest conversation.
Yeah. And he's very supportive of what I'm doing. Him and my training chief both are very supportive of what I'm doing with the Ethos page. I actually had to email him just a little bit ago to give him a heads up about the guy. And he's like, dude, I fully support you.
Yeah. So hey, hang on a second. We're gonna turn things for just a second because I know he's listening. So
Uh-huh.
let's talk about your buddy Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you put him on a pedestal, so let's pump it up. I will be,
Yeah.
I didn't know of Alex before, you presented him or gave me a little shove on him. And
Uh-huh.
I didn't even know about his page, and I have been really educated on it since then. I've done a lot of learning about Alex, and I will be one of the first ones to say, guys, if you do have not been following Alex Rayfield, you need to start because in the next 5 years, this kid is going to be a huge influencer in the fire service. He truly is.
See, I told you.
Yeah,
Um,
he has got a drive and a passion. I mean, big time.
yeah, so first of all, I've actually never met Alex. We just talk a lot.
Yeah.
Um, I saw his page. I think he'd had it for a couple months, maybe. And man, let me tell you, if you've just discovered his page, you've missed a lot. They're
Doing homework. I'm backlogging.
Yeah, they're one of the guys that was an often critic of him. I don't want to say that we harassed the guy, but we defended Alex very well to the point that the guy doesn't have a Facebook anymore.
Wow.
But he was very, very much hated what Alex was doing and his message, because he was a big city fireman back in the 70s. And we pretty much told him that a lot has changed since then in
It
some polite ways and not so polite ways.
it truly has. But as an instructor now,
hmm
which is
hmm
my bread and butter, I
hmm
love meeting people like Alex because
Yeah.
I mean I deal with recruit schools all the time, every day, day
hmm
in, day out. I teach rookie schools, but what I really love is meeting kids like Alex because
hmm
he's not ashamed to tell the instructors of America what they need to be successful, what they're
Yeah.
looking for, what they are hungry for, and it gives us ideas on how to present things better, how to grasp their attention, how to get the message across. It's
hmm
it's it's what we need as instructors, and I feel and I preach all the time to people that we as instructors need to find the Alexes, so they tell us how we can do our job better as instructors.
Yeah, that's what's prompted one of my posts the other days. It was something along the lines of you could have crawled 100 hallways, but that doesn't mean that you did it well.
Yes,
Because that was the dude's constant response was, well, I have crawled more hallways than you ever will, and I was like, I don't care.
well, you can
Like
also have a
like,
20-year recruit career and repeat your rookie year 19 years.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I am all about having the larger conversation until you won't. And the moment that you stop having that conversation is the moment that I stop treating you with respect.
It's like
As
me and you are
long as
the same.
as long as you're willing to have an open and candid, continuous conversation with me, I a lot of it's ironic that people disagree with this statement. I hate disagreeing. I hate agreeing to disagree. If you
Mhm.
agree to disagree, in my opinion, then you didn't feel very strongly about it. If it's something that you feel strongly about and you can't continue the conversation in that moment, let's pause the conversation. And when you can continue it, let's come back and continue the conversation.
Sure.
Because if it's something that you feel strongly about, then if it's something that I feel strongly about, I will not agree to disagree. You can either educate me and show me that I'm wrong, or you can not. But if you're not going to, then you can't say that you were right.
And here's the thing about it. If me and you have a conversation on something, we don't agree, and you show me I'm wrong, guess what I just did? I learned.
hmm
I'm being honest.
And
I learned.
and this is something that I say at my department often. Um, and going and again, ADD. I apologize. Um, I'll work back to Alex, but um,
Hey,
something I
you're
say at my department often is I want facts, not theory, because confidence only goes so far. You can only be so confident in what you can do. But
hmm
what people truly respect and what people truly want is competence. And that's part of what sent me down my learning journey is that I spent so much of my career as a second generation guy being confident in what I could do. I never realized that I wasn't competent in what I was doing. Um, which brings me back around to Alex. Alex is doing things in a very well and thought out manner. He is
hmm
not trying to sway people's opinions per se. He is documenting his thoughts and his conclusions and how he is trying to better himself. It isn't until someone tries to open up the discussion with him that he's trying to change their opinion. And I think that that is an ingenious way of changing the fire service. And whether he recognizes it or not, as long as he continues down this journey that he's in, I think that he is going to be in the top 20 to top 10 major influences in the fire service before I retire.
Absolutely. And Alex, this is Alex episode take two. Um, I mean, it's just it's so good to talk about. I mean, you teach all the time. I teach all the time. You exposed
Hmm.
me to this kid that completely energized me. And the cool thing about it was when I done the podcast with him, I was at the academy. So I got finished with the podcast. Next morning, I'm bright eyed and bushy tailed. I'm ready to go. I mean, this kid's got me fired up.
Hmm.
That's that goes on to the conversation I want to have with you next on that. You know, as an instructor, what kind of students are you looking for? That way the students of the fire service are listening to us and they know what kind of person they need to be around Kevin in class. What is Kevin looking for?
Man,
What gets his gears going?
oh man, let me tell you, I want them all. I want every single student. I want the bright student. I want the dumb student. I want the one with the learning disabilities. I want the one that's struggling. Man, I want them all. And let me tell you why. I'm so glad you asked this question. I really am. I'm excited now. And granted, it's not hard. Um, I came up in life with a lot of problems. I was born
Mhm.
premature. The bridge between my left and the right side of my brain didn't fully develop. I was originally left-handed, and then my teacher made me right-handed, which apparently messes up a lot of things developmentally. I had asthma, I had scoliosis, I had a heart condition that I had to have surgery on. When I graduated the fire academy, I was 101 pounds. I have sensory integration dysfunction, auditory processing disorder, all kinds of things, man. And let me tell you, the fire academy was hard. I went through three. I quit one, barely passed the other, and sort of kind of passed the last one with the help of possibly some instructors. Um, and so many times throughout those academies, I'm watching the instructor teach the students in ways that they understand, and I'm like, that is great.
Yep.
But I have no idea what you're trying to get me to understand. And it wasn't until 2019 in Aaron Field's nozzle forward class. Mad respect for Aaron, by the way. I don't know if you follow him much. It's hard to follow him because he's not on any kind of social media. Um, it wasn't until his nozzle forward class that he saw me struggling. He stopped, came away from a group of students, knelt down beside me, and figured out how to explain something to me in a way that I understood. And I will always be jealous of Aaron because he says that he is an accidental instructor. He never went looking to be an instructor. And I
Mhm.
think that's awesome. And I wish that I became an accidental instructor as well. I didn't want it to be something I went searching for. But that very moment, I realized there has to be more instructors like this. And this is what I want to do. And so I will take anyone.
Like me, I want to be rich. I'm not
Yeah.
going to be rich with money. I'm going to be rich with people. I want to invest in as many people as I can. I will say, in the way I look at things, and it might be a little different, but I'm an addict
Hmm.
by far. When I have a student and they're struggling, and you finally see where it clicks, that light bulb
Hmm.
goes off. They are understanding. They're doing the work the way it needs to go. Everything's pushing forward. That gets you hungry for the next one. I need one more. I need one more. How many more can I get? Because
Hmm.
you, you see that progression, and you're like, I helped do that. Now let me do some more. I mean, it truly is an addicting thing to get that high of seeing them do better, seeing them cross those boundaries they had, and
Hmm.
really you had a little bit of help in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of my biggest pet peeves, man, is like I've been helping people before and I've had people come to me and be like, why are you wasting your time? Well, they need help. Well, be more like me. I pick the winners. Well, man, I don't want to pick the winners. The winners don't need my help. The winners are winners on their own. I mean, there are people that are just have a God-given talent for this and don't have to work hard for anything. Me, I have to work hard.
Hmm.
I'm in a book, I'm on a podcast, I'm online, I'm on FSRI's website. Um, I'm in something always. Why? Because I have to work hard. Um, I don't want the winners. I could care less about the winners. They're important. They have their place, but they don't need my help right now. There are other people that need my help. I will still take anyone. But then there's also the people that, brag about mentorship and want to be part of retention, but then they go and try to run off their partner because their partner doesn't click with them. Well, man, help them learn how to click.
Mentor them.
Yeah.
It's mentorship is something that is getting better than what it
Mm-hmm.
used to be. Um, well, actually, the reason I thought about it is my phone just dung, and it was my mentor. He's good
Mm-hmm.
for about 3 texts a week. Uh, my first boss I ever had, okay? And 24 years later, he's still sending me 2 to 3 texts a week. Think about
Mm-hmm.
this. I'm actually really curious of what he comes with some off the wall stuff sometimes. Uh, hmm. Okay. Cool. About it's about pump configuration. I mean, it's always something. 2 weeks ago, it was about the Hackensack Ford dealership, about the original reports from it. But it's always
Mm-hmm.
trying to throw nuggets. And when you said about the students and stuff, I really like getting on that one to one with them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sometimes it's hard to whenever you have really big classes, but one of the biggest challenges I had, and it took me a little while to understand it when I first started teaching full time, but whenever we would have a break, I'd run to the office and get a drink or something like that, or I'd sit in the office for 10 or 15 minutes, check emails, whatever I had to do in between lecture time. And I had somebody give me a nudge. A buddy of mine that used to work with us, he's actually in Wyoming now, but he's like, "What are you doing during your break time?" I said, "Well, I'm checking emails, looking at paperwork, trying to get something ready for the next thing." He is, "Why don't you just stop and talk to your students?" And I said, "Well, I got to get to see." He said, "Emails can wait." He's like, "Your job is your students,
Mm-hmm.
and how are you going to be able to get on a level with them if you can't have a conversation with them that's not about teaching?"
Yeah.
I mean, and that dug deep with me. It made me really, really look at things differently. So that way, because how do you expect them to? Anybody can lecture, anybody can teach, but you got to get on that one to one level with them. And if you can't sit there and just have a conversation about the football game they watched or whatever, trying to get on that personal level with them, it opens
Mm-hmm.
up a lot of doors to establish that mentorship, to be able to have a way to talk, have those open conversations. And it would surprise you a lot of times with some of the stuff they come up to you with afterwards once you
Mm-hmm.
open that communication, because it's almost like some of our younger ones are more timid to start the conversation because they're not used to it. We're not talking in the chat room.
Absolutely. And man, let me tell you, I've had a great honor, and I may be off with the numbers, but I've had the great honor to be involved some way, shape, or form in the last six of our last seven academies. Um, and one of my best partners that I ever had was one of my recruits. And being able to watch him grow outside of the academy, come be my partner, become a solid fireman, become a good driver, and now he's at what we call in my department an engineer
Hmm.
is you're kind of in charge of your own company as an engineer at some of the stations or on some of the shifts. But overall, get to do that. And then, getting to take some of the guys that were my recruits in on their first fires and watch them experience that. And then just being able to watch people come up within the fire service that you were there standing in front of them on their very first day is just awesome.
It truly is, and I can relate to that. I'll give you a prime example. Not long after I made lieutenant, years
Hmm.
ago, I I got a probie, and I took this guy from day one, taught him how to pump, taught him how to drive, everything, turned him into an engineer. And when I took my training job 2 years ago, he is my senior instructor. So he has seniority in the training division over me. And so that's the running joke is I look at everybody and say he might be the number one man, but he was my probie. And but exactly what you're talking about. I mean, I got laid into the game in the training division, but I'm loving every minute of it, and I'm so thankful that I have an opportunity to do this job. But
Hmm.
just what you said, I watched him from the very beginning. I watched him grow, watched him de- develop himself, and then turn around and just sit there and watch him pour in and teach others the way I had him to start off with, and see the difference he's making. And it's just that's worth it all. It's worth every bit of the effort to be able to sit back and say, I remember him when he was a wee thing, or however you want to say it, and now look at him. No different than you're talking about your guy you started off with. Now he's running his own house basically. It's a very rewarding occupation.
Hmm.
I would say that instructors are some of the most taxed,
Hmm.
but most rewarded parts of the fire service. We can never have enough. We never can do enough. It seems like, but we get, in my opinion, we get more of a reward and get to see more of our return on investment.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited. A new batch of recruits starts September 1st. Um, a lot of work. We don't have a full-time training staff, so I'll be doing academy full-time.
Mm-hmm.
On my shift days, I'll come back after academy and finish out my shift. And also, if I'm working a weekend, I'll continue my shift on the weekend. So it's going to be a very busy time. It's one of those things that it's funny. Like you're like, man, I can't wait for academy. And then day one of the academy, you're like, oh man, what did I get myself into? And then the first month into academy, you're like, man, when is this done? Like, why am I doing this? And then academy graduation comes around, you're like, man, when's the next academy? Like, it's a vicious, never ending self destructive cycle that I absolutely love and
Love it.
adore.
Love it. Because I'm telling you, graduation day is the best. I've said it on here a few different times. I mean, the highlight of the year. I mean, we normally run two classes a year, but the highlight is watching them walk the stage and get that badge. I mean, that is the highlight because you're watching them. They're truly starting their career in the fire service after that badge winning. But you're watching them. They hit the bar they wanted to get to. I mean, they made it
Hmm.
across the stage. They're getting that badge, and we're getting to sit there and witness it and celebrate all their hard work. And because we were talking the other day, and it's not easy for a recruit. It's truly not, especially if
Mm-mm.
you do fire and EMT together in a recruit school. And I'm not trying to say that they're doing more than what others have done before them. It's the same thing all of us have had to do, but it's definitely, I would think, a little more challenging now than what it used to be.
Absolutely.
Um, you know, the academics are a little differently. Um, I think one of the biggest things is there's too many resources to use as references, and it can be really confusing for them a lot of times. We didn't. Google wasn't that much when going on when I started in the fire service. You had your IFSTA manual and the salty old captain at the back of the firehouse, and that's kind of how we learned. That was my Google. His name was Captain Blanton.
Hmm.
Uh, we he was Google in the world. I mean, that was a Essentials 3. Um, by the way, if anybody's got a spare copy of that, I would love to add it to my library. I can't find mine anymore. That's the last one I'm trying to hunt is the original Essentials 3.
Yeah. Man, let me tell you, the technology is a blessing and a curse.
Hmm.
I mean, it really is. Like Fire Safety Research Institute, the things that they're doing is just amazing. And now, when I have, whether it's a recruit or an old head, question what I'm doing, I don't have to try to explain myself anymore. I will, but I just say, here,
Hmm.
learn for yourself. Um, and I think that through places like the Fire Safety Research Institute, and the stuff that Keith is doing and the public outreach that Jennifer there is doing, it's able to cut through a lot of the muck
Yes.
of idealism and opinions of tactics.
Hmm.
Um,
I'll give you one more. I think also a lot of the technology we have can
mhm,
help validate your instructors that much faster too. That way they can do a little bit of
absolutely.
research and say, this guy knows exactly what he's talking about. I need to listen to him some more.
Hmm. Something, not to beat a dead bush at this point, but something that Aaron Fields does really well, is he talks about having your bibliography up front.
Hmm.
And so, because he views that as so important, because I understand where he's coming from, um, because when I go down to MAFC, people may not know who I am. But if the very first thing that I do is within the first 4 slides, I have all of my influences listed there. Ian Schulte, Nick Wadeen, Jennifer Williams, Keith Stakes, Aaron Fields, Galliano, um, all of those people, at least one of those names on there, someone's going to be like, oh, I know them. Oh, he's basing this something that he's learned off of them. Cool. And so putting that stuff up front is very important.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean you're validating what your course is based on, what the research was done on it, the findings on it, everything else. You're
Hmm.
100% correct. I mean, IFSTA does the same thing. Look in the
Hmm.
front of an IFSTA book. It tells you everything what's going on with it. But you're exactly right. It's not bragging about who you are, but it's explaining where your thoughts and ideas come from, and it kind of validates your message before your message starts because it shows you done your homework and you're trying to produce a good product.
Yeah. Someone's messaging me about the March Mayhem thing, so something might be going on Facebook. I'm not sure. um, anyways, yeah. So that's my big thing is like we've got to put our influences up front.
Sure, absolutely. So influences. You talked about you you got your big heavy hitter out there, but and so what about you? What are you looking to influence? Tell your story of what you're truly wanting to influence, because everybody's got a reason. Tell your why.
Yeah. Yeah. So pretty much, kind of like I said, is like it was really hard coming up in the fire service. I've had so many people be like, "Man, I don't understand why you go to these things. I don't understand why you go to conferences. I don't understand why you take time off work, why you pay your own money." And those are the guys that it comes naturally to. And, I just have to be like, man, I'm not like you. I don't think the same way as you. I don't learn the same way as you. I don't function the same way as you. But there's not that many people out there that understand how to teach me. And I can't help but think that I'm the only one out there that learns the way that I do. And so if I can get myself out there to help other people like me, then it's it's worth just about anything.
Absolutely. I love that. I love what you're saying. And as an instructor, I respect that a lot because you are trying to expose different things that people have to overcome. And as instructors, it's our job to help learn them how to help them overcome it. That way,
Hmm.
they can open up more to truly what's going on. Or you can say, hey, I know what you're going through. I never dealt with it, but a friend of mine, Kevin, he taught a class about having to teach students that are dealing with this because he dealt with it. It's using
Hmm.
yourself as a resource for instructors to be able to outreach to more of their students and help them be successful. Kudos for you,
Hmm.
man. Good job on that. I mean, I
Yeah.
really love that.
Yeah, and I mean, and another side of that is, like I said, I'm a second generation guy. My dad was very involved in the rescue world. He was the chief of special operations at the local rescue squad for most of my childhood. Um, and he taught all kinds of anything from trench to ropes to vehicle rescue to confined space, all those things. It was just really cool, tagging along, watching him teach stuff.
Hmm.
Now, don't ask me much about rescue outside of vehicle rescue. I inherited my dad's attitude, but I did not inherit his rescue knowledge.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It's kind of like my dad turned wrenches for a living. I can kind of halfway make stuff work, but yeah, no. Uh, it's okay. I think I got his work ethic from him. I learned that. But as long as you can take something from everybody, you can build yourself to whatever.
People would tell me a lot growing up. They'd be like, "Man, you look so much like your mother." I said, "Yeah, but I act like my dad." They're like, "Oh God."
Mm. So Kevin, the chalkboard is yours. Write your
Yeah,
message.
yeah, with the dogs going crazy in
It's
the
okay.
background.
It's all right.
Um, yeah. So it's funny that this last conversation is what segued back into the into writing my message. Because I thought about this a lot about what I wanted my message to be. And so growing up, tagging along with my dad, listening to him teach, he always had a line he threw out every single time, and it's always resonated with me. And I think he got it from his time in the military. But he'd always tell the students near the beginning of the class, you start this with a bag full of luck and an empty bag of experience. And my job is to help you fill that bag of experience and knowledge before your luck runs out. And man, let me tell you, I've been lucky a lot. And that bag has to be empty by now. And so I've got to do everything that I can to make sure that my bag of experience is full. And seeing how quickly my bag of luck ran out, I've got to do everything that I can to make other people's bags full.
I love it. I love it.
So, you can't get by on luck alone.
No, you can't. And you'll hear some people say, "I'd rather be lucky than good any day of the week. I'd rather be good than lucky." That way, I can repeat it. Um, but I really, really appreciate your servant based mindset because that's truly the way you're looking at it. You're looking at it as a servant to your students, and I truly respect that.
Yeah.
That's something.
There are so many hills that I could die on during this podcast, but we don't have enough time. Um, we unfortunately didn't get to get into the chief advisory stuff. Maybe another time.
We'll
Um,
I have to do another episode for that one.
It's a fun
I
story.
can retire in 7 months, so let's.
It's a fun story. Um,
I
keep an eye on
I will
Working Fire
say,
Company for more flags.
yeah, I will say that that's the first thing that grasped my attention when I met Kevin is he was hanging his chief advisory flag over the burn building in Atlanta. I'm like, whoa, let me go see what this is about.
It has been one of my favorite things that I've ever done, ever created. And once again, it was one of those things that kind of happened a little bit as a joke, a little bit of as an accident. And I was like, I just have to make this into a flag.
Hey, it works. It gets attention. It gets people talking. It gets people
Yeah.
learning what it's all about. I
Yep.
love. But I truly, your message is a strong one. Make sure you
I
keep
appreciate
everybody's
it.
bag full. That's a really strong one because luck's only going to get you so far. Help them fill it with knowledge. I love it.
Yep.
Evan, man, I greatly appreciate you being on here with me tonight. I appreciate everybody listening to us. Guys, if you haven't been on Kevin's Facebook page and checked him out, it's Ethos of Fire. He's on Facebook. He's got tons of great information. Check this guy out at Maspy coming up next spring. I am sure he is going to be one of the instructors added into the cadre. He has got a a cadre of members that come that are rock solid that help him work through the classes and stuff. Just look out for the guy that's got his hat turned around backwards. But
Also, I'll be submitting a 2 day this time because we could not
Okay,
fit we had to cut so much of what we wanted to do. It's going to be submitted as a 2 day class this round.
okay, good deal. I'm still working on what I'll hopefully be submitting. I got something new I'm working on. Hopefully get that put in, and hope to see you back in Atlanta. If not,
Yeah.
maybe FDIC. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Waiting for the end of the
Yeah.
month. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
but thanks again, guys. Appreciate you watching. Uh, Tune us in on Spotify, YouTube, any kind of platform there is. We're there, and I'm going to work with Kevin and try to get all of his gears running together on the social media stuff. He can help me with some stuff, and I'll help him. But
Yeah.
so until next time, guys, stay safe, keep learning, and we'll see you when the next person steps up to the chalkboard.